So a midsegment is a segment that's inside the triangle that connects the midpoints of each sides together. So first let's kind of look at some properties. So let's graph this triangle ABC. So we have A at 1, 1. B is at 3, 5. And then C is at 9, 1. Okay, so to draw the midsegments, first we need the midpoints. So let's find the midpoint of AB. So that's what you did for bell work. So to find the midpoint, remember we add the x's and divide by 2 and add the y's and divide by 2. So AB is 1 and 3 and then 1 and 5. So 1 plus 3 divided by 2 and 1 plus 5 divided by 2. Do what? Yeah. So we get 1 plus 3 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 1 plus 5 is 6, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we get the point 2, 3. So let's plot that point. So 2, 1, 2, 3. And if your line is straight, which mine is not, but that point should be on your triangle side. So then we want the midpoint of BC. So we're looking at B and C. So we need to do 3 plus 9 divided by 2 and 5 plus 1 divided by 2. So 3 plus 9 is 12, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then 5 plus 1 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So then again we can plot 6, 3. And again that one should be on your triangle. And for the last one, AC, it's just a horizontal line, so you can just count it, or you can use a formula. Either way you get the same thing. So if I'm looking at A and C, I've got 1 and 9 and 1 and 1. So 1 plus 9 divided by 2 and 1 plus 1 divided by 2. So 1 plus 9 gives us 10, divided by 2 is 5, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. So 5, 1. Questions finding those. Alright, and then we can connect them. So if we look at this graph, what do you notice about the sides and then the midsegments inside? Yeah, so it's the same shaped triangle. Oh, you mean all of these are the same? Yeah.
But that one's the same shape as that.
Yep. How about let's look at the length. So if I count the length of AC, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if I count the length of this horizontal one here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, what do I know about 8 and 4? Yeah. So 4 is half of 8, or 4 times 2 is 8. What do I know about these two horizontal lines? They're parallel. So I can say this side is parallel to this side. And that's true for all of them. So all of the mid-segments that are across from the sides are parallel. So then this one is parallel to this one. And then this one is parallel to this one. Good. So those are the properties of a mid-segment. So the length is half of the side it's parallel to, and it's parallel to the side that it's not connecting the midpoint to. So if you connect the midpoints of two sides of the triangle, this segment will be parallel to the third side, and its length will be half of that of the third side. So if we look at number 1, we want to solve for x. Well, I can see here, when it gives me these little tick marks, that means that this is the mid-segment, because it's splitting this side in half, it's splitting this side in half. So then if the whole thing is 24, the mid-segment's half of that, what would it be? 12. Good. That's it. So if we look at 2, it's different because it gives me all of the sides, but it only gives me one mid-segment. So the mid-segment it gives me is 4x. Well, which one is it parallel to? 10x minus 10. So to solve these, you can do it 2 ways. You can either multiply the mid-segment by 2, or you can multiply the side length by 1/2. If you do the 1/2, sometimes that gives you decimals. So I always multiply the mid-segment by 2. So to do that, I'll say 2 times 4x equals 10x minus 10. So then we can just solve it. So 2 times 4 will give us 8x equals 10x minus 10. We can subtract the 10x over. So we get negative 2x equals negative 10. And then divide by negative 2. So x equals 5. Sure. Yeah, so if you want to check yourself, you could plug it back in and make sure that it really is half. So if I plug it in here, 4 times 5 is 20. If I plug it in here, 10 times 5 is 50, minus 10 is 40, and 20 is half of 40. So yeah, you can always plug it in and check yourself. Questions? Let's look at 3. So if we look at 3, I've got the entire side is 58, and then the mid-segment is 5x minus 1. So if the mid-segment is half of this side, what is the mid-segment going to equal? 29. So we just do 58 divided by 2. So then we can say 5x minus 1 equals 29. And then we just solve it. So add 1. And divide. Questions? I just got 4. So on 4, I have that the mid segment is 6. I want the entire side down here to figure out what is x minus 1. So if the mid segment is 6, what does the side equal? If the mid segment is 6, 12. Good. So we have to do 2 times 6. So then x minus 1 equals 12. So then if we add 1, x equals 13. You got it. Questions? Let's look at 5. So if we look at 5, I don't know the length of either one of them. So again, we can either multiply the side by 1/2 or the mid segment by 2. Well, if I multiply this by 1/2, that's going to give me decimals, and I don't like that. So I'm going to multiply the mid segment by 2. And then I can set it equal to the side. So then what do I have to do first in this one? Distribute. Good. So we distribute that 2. So 4x minus 6 equals x plus 9. And then we solve it. So I subtracted the x, which left me 3x minus 6 equals 9. Good. And then we add 6. So 3x equals 15. You got it. Divide by 3. Good. So x equals 5. And then again, if you wanted to check yourself, you could plug it in. So 5 plus 9 is 14. 2 times 5 is 10, minus 3 is 7. And we know 7 is half of 14. Okay. Let's do one more. So same thing on 6. I don't know the length of either one of them, but I know I can multiply this mid segment by 2. So 2 times x plus 19 equals x plus 29. So then we can distribute and then we can move the x. And then subtract. So I get the x equals negative 9. But then again, if you want to plug it back in, negative 9 plus 19 is 10. Negative 9 plus 29 is 20. And we know 10 is half of 20. questions.